Hi everyone, Dr. Adriana Popescu here. I am a licensed clinical psychologist, an addiction and trauma specialist, and an empowerment coach. And I'm here with you to present a series on anxiety. What is it, and what are the best ways to deal with it? So, first, I want to start in this clip with what is anxiety. I think the best definition I ever heard of anxiety was the fear of not being in control or the fear of losing control. And if you think about it, that really describes it so well because anxiety is very much focused on future events and the worry that something bad is going to happen. A lot of times we have catastrophic thinking like the worst case scenario. And there's often underneath anxiety this idea that I have to figure it all out. I have to imagine all the possible outcomes and plan ahead so that I make sure that something bad doesn't happen, that I don't lose control, that something catastrophic doesn't happen. That's typically what anxiety looks like. And then what it does to our bodies, because anxiety has a physical, mental, and emotional effect, it tends to put our body into fight, flight, freeze. Okay, this is a natural mechanism that we all have. We're biologically wired that when threatened, our body mobilizes us to move into fight, meaning we're going to fight our predator or the threat, flee or flight, right? Means we're going to run away, or freeze, which is we're going to play dead. And our body does a number of neurological and biochemical reactions. What'll happen is your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, your breathing gets more shallow, and about 70% of the blood flow goes out of your prefrontal cortex. That's the very human part of your brain. When you're in a fight, flight, freeze response, you're basically functioning from the more primitive part of your brain. You've got your brainstem is involved. You've got your amygdala, which is your emotional center, involved. And basically, it's your survival mechanism. So 70% of the blood flow goes out of the prefrontal cortex, meaning you can't think straight. You can't think logically and reasonably about what's going on. So you'll tend to not be able to think straight, and you'll act in some sort of impulsive manner, right? If you're somebody that's experienced a lot of trauma, this hypervigilance, they call it, you're more likely to have an exaggerated startle response, meaning you're going to, like this, you're going to be constantly on edge and kind of keyed up, and you're going to be more likely to respond with a full-blown fight, flight, freeze response to a situation that isn't actually life-threatening. So that's what ends up happening for people a lot of times is they're having these almost panicked attack-like reactions to things like, having to speak in public, or having to, be in front of strangers, or any number of different situations that aren't in fact, as serious as a tiger chasing you or something like that, right? But yet your body is responding in that way. So of the different techniques I'm going to be working with you all on, we have to be keeping in mind the physical effects of anxiety and dealing with what is happening in the body. The body is getting into the sympathetic nervous system arousal, and we're wanting to calm that down and do some other things instead. So please join me as I do this multi-part series on my favorite tips for dealing with anxiety. If you want to find out more about me or book a session with me, you can find me on my website, adrianapopescu.org. Thank you.